Sutra 56. Gauni Tridha Guna Bheda Artadi Bhedatva. There are three kinds of secondary devotion mentioned according to the nature of the devotee. Thus far, the topmost superior type of devotion has been discussed, one in which the loving devotee attains his beloved Lord in the form of sacred love. In this aphorism, Sage Narad describes a secondary type of devotion, of a lower order, which has three types of qualities: sattva, rajas, and tamas, also associated with the three types of spiritual aspirants: the seeker of truth, the seeker of worldly gain, and the distressed. Secondary devotion can be defined in conjunction with the three qualities as follows. Sattva, devotion that is performed in the form of relinquishing the results of one's actions as an offering to the Lord with the intention of eliminating sins, or in which worship is performed as a matter of duty with the understanding that one is a servant of the Lord, is sattvic devotion. Srimad Bhagavatam 3.29.10. Rajas, devotion that is motivated by desire for material gain, power, and fame, and is practiced solely through the form of image worship, is rajasic devotion. Srimad Bhagavatam 3.29.9. Tamas, devotion catalyzed by anger, hypocrisy, jealousy, or violence, is tamasic devotion. Srimad Bhagavatam 3.29.8. The seeker of truth, the sattvic devotee, the seeker of worldly wealth, the rajasic devotee, and the distressed, the tamasic devotee, practice three different types of devotion. Therefore, secondary devotion is divided into three categories according to the different aspirations of the devotee. The Bhagavad Gita mentions four types of devotees. 1. The knowledgeable. The knowledgeable devotee is one who is disinterested in the material world, who has realized the Lord and who only sees Him as a permanent reality. There is nothing other than the Lord Himself. He practices devotion under the natural inclination of his heart. This aphorism is not talking about this type of devotee. 2. The distressed. A distressed devotee is one who is tamasic. He tries to make offerings to please Lord Krishna because he wants to defeat his enemy or his competitor. Demons are tamasic. There is a mountain on the bank of the Gandaki river in Nepal where a demon meditated to please Lord Krishna in order to receive a boon. When the Lord was pleased by the demon's devotion, he himself came to bestow a fruit for the austerity. The demon had meditated for many years whilst fasting, and when he received an audience with Lord Krishna, the demon failed to realize that the Lord was the object of his meditation and austerity for many years. The sight of Lord Krishna's soft and beautiful body made the demon hungry, and he asked the Lord if he could eat him. The demon tried to attack Krishna, but he was unsuccessful in his attempt. The merciful Krishna fulfilled his desire and made him an insect which eats the Shaligram Shila, the black stone form of Krishna. The characteristics of one who is affected by tamas are lethargy and anger. Yet devotional practice can even offer opportunities for the tamasic devotees to perform devotion according to their nature. For example, if an aspirant is going to sleep, he can imagine resting his head at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, taking his shelter. Upon waking, the aspirant may reminisce about how he spent the whole night under the shelter of the Lord of his heart, bowing at his feet. 3. The seeker of worldly wealth. This is a rajasic devotee. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Prince Dhruv had the grand desire to be king of 3 universes. Through intense devotional practice, he tried to please Krishna with the hope that the Lord would fulfill his desire. When Krishna appeared before Dhruv to reward him a boon, his worldly desire vanished, and instead Dhruv asked for the benediction of eternal service to the Lord. The Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu mentions two types of devotees, the desiring and the desireless. By making one's desires limited, once those desires are fulfilled, one becomes a desireless devotee. Thus, it is essential for the Rajasic devotee that he conditions himself to limit his desires. 4. The seeker of truth. This is a devotee who is inquisitive and sattvic. Once, the Sanat Kumars went to the Lord's abode. They paid obeisances to him. By bowing down at the lotus feet of the Lord, the fragrance of tulsi suffused their senses. Tulsi is a plant commonly known as holy basil, and in Lord Vishnu's abode, Vaikunt, she is one of his wives. The scriptures mention that Lord Krishna accepts offerings made with the leaf of a tulsi plant. The Sanat Kumars went into a trance, experiencing the beauty of tulsi. Thereafter, they started performing devotion because they had the urge to experience the source of tulsi's happiness, which they could only imagine to be the most beautiful feeling. By this offering, they merited the gift of an audience with tulsi's love, Lord Krishna himself. Hence, there are 4 types of devotees: the knowledgeable, the distressed, the seeker of worldly wealth, and the seeker of truth. The practice of this secondary type of devotion is not directly beneficial, because it is not a direct path to attain sacred love, even though it is righteous. By practicing this kind of devotion, the devotees attain the mercy of the Lord, which leads them to the highest stage on their spiritual path. In other words, primary devotion or devotion in the form of sacred love. Each person has some combination of sattva, rajas, and tamas in them. Of these 3 qualities, the prevalence of one above the other 2 determines the nature of the aspirant. Nevertheless, each category guides one towards pure devotion, because every kind of devotional practice contains a constituent of the following elements: remembrance of the Lord, contemplation on the Lord, and dependence on the Lord. Therefore, any form of devotion is never in vain, and one should always make a point of practicing devotion in whatever form it is accessible.